All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back here this Wednesday, February 21st. Time to wake a few of us up, or perhaps time for the market to wake up. Great to have all of us here at least now. Really quick, just let me know if you can hear me loud and clear inside our live trading room, and of course on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook Live, etc. On top, that being at Cyber Trading U. Just give me a quick sound check across the board. I got a private chat. Just came in from one of my guys right here, Charles. Great to see Charles right there. I'll write you back in just a moment, Charles. But Larry and David in the main chat, and Michael, I should say. I'm sorry. Larry, David, how about that? Great to see Rajan as well, loud and clear from him. Perfect. So we are good to go across the board. But I will tell you, folks, wow, it has been a stagnant, slow, murky, choppy, sideways type of day. Hey, for as much as I say that, we do love to see a couple stocks that could go against the grain or could make kind of their own move on their own accord. They're doing their own thing. Well, we had one or two of those, but man, it has been a drag today. It has been a really slow afternoon so far. Even just now, as I'm talking, Boyle ETF, natural gas ETF. We were following this stock or this ETF, a number of weeks back as it was continuing to break all-time lows. Took our eyes off it for a little bit, and then actually this morning had a bit of a gap up early in pre-market, and it's been a decent trade. But even just now, this damn thing making lower high and just getting choppy again. So I'll come back to this. If you want me to come back to this at the end of this meeting, just as we go from top to bottom, I wouldn't mind just reconsidering it, maybe throwing it just on the back end of our list there, if anything. But hopefully we could find a lot better trades to work with here going into the close. So honestly, what we'll just do here from the jump is go right from top to bottom here. Again, if you're just joining us on YouTube right now, just that being at Cyber Trading U, I should have popped that up on the lower left to begin right there. But otherwise, just be a friend, tell a friend, make sure that you're following and subscribed right to our YouTube channel, YouTube stream at Cyber Trading U. But from top to bottom we go. Hopefully we try and find a good runner to work with here. As we start though, again, a lot of chop, a lot of sideways, or otherwise it's already popped and dropped. So SOGP, Sound Group, ended up making a pop and drop even before 8 o'clock. It was trending down at that point afterwards. I guess it made a small little move heading into noontime, but again, this is just kind of what we're dealing with here. EBS, this one I just went break even on before. A little disappointing there because it had all the makings for a potential pop and a higher high. Started off like perfect, honestly, phenomenal, if anything, just from 270. But it ended up not just failing to make a move up to 3. Actually, here on this trade, allowed me to bring up level 4. I'll bring up the heat map program here. And I'll tell you, for this trade, this looked pretty ugly, actually. So I'm going to try and skew it, make it easier for you to see. Yeah, you can see that popped up just prior to 2 p.m. Eastern here on this EBS stock, about 68,000 shares on the sell side. I mean, that definitely was the largest or one of the largest orders on this trade. Well, look what happened to it immediately after that order showed up. Immediately after. That popped up at 1:58 in the afternoon. As soon as it did, squash. This thing got crushed. So I went out break even right at 270. If it's not going to make that big move, that large reactionary move that you're expecting, then it's going to make one. I guarantee you it will, just the opposite direction, right? So we're not trying to hold on. VTYX, same deal. MOTS, same deal. Had a little bounce from $1 earlier, but that was really it. Just good for about 15, 20 pennies there. Whew, man, this is a disaster so far, folks. As we start at the top of the gainers list, we'll probably find one or two that could be good. RAPT doesn't look half bad. I mean, decent trend back up here. It's a stock that dropped off pretty badly from yesterday. So Fausto had called this out from the morning session. Little dead cat bounce this trade had. Hey, we are not expecting a full gap fill here. We don't know the first thing about this company, first off. Actually, if there is one thing that we could assume about this company, it's in the watermark. It's in the name of the company. Therapeutic, right? Was it a pharma company? So, what Fausto often says about these pharma companies, they never come back, right? And we say that in terms of day trading and turning it recklessly into a swing trade. Well, it's starting to fill a little gap here. I mean, there's a chance for this to try and make a smaller recovery, but I wouldn't be expecting a full gap fill. All right. Now, if I could be at least a little positive and, encourage maybe a potential pop, Take a look at PLCE. Remember this stock? This was back like last week. This thing got smashed like, on this morning. Actually made the dead cat bounce that given day. And then afterwards, it just kept going and actually blew the roof off the place, popped up close to 40. Again, we are certainly not expecting that of all things to happen on this trade. But you know what? Hey, given the trend back up here heading into the early to mid afternoon, is it possible for this to make a move back to 10, maybe over 10 perhaps for a little bit? I'll give it a chance. RAPT. All right, we got one. We got him. There we go. We got two, perhaps. IOVA still sticking near the highs and ran up really nicely from the morning session. Ended up building support off 1450, broke back over 15, had flipped that into support for the time being. Currently, as it is still over 15, it shook down there earlier and held. So, you know what? Hey, I'll add this too. IOVA. Two now at this point. All right, I got the Boyle ETF. That one I'm probably going to scrap for the time being there. It just shook back down on us. Now, hey, we're kind of back to that choppiness again, right? Look at this trade. Why my? This thing has had a crazy daily chart of late, but I pass on it here for the afternoon. Vaxxert COVID stock from back in 2020, one of many that we traded back then. Oh, what else we got? What else we got? We got NEO, not NIO. We got NEO though. RRC. Man, it is dead out there. You know what? On top, how about this? Aside from just kind of seeing stagnant market, I believe there was also smaller, tinier Fed minutes meeting earlier today. Normally you don't get as good of a reaction off of that. It can lead to a little something here or there, but it's not as often. Let me ask us, for Rajan, Leda, Larry, Michael, all of our students here, what do you think most traders are waiting on coming up? Anything coming up pretty soon in the next 24 hours, 3 hours maybe, 2 hours maybe, that I think a lot of traders are waiting on? There we go, Bill. Hey, Bill, let me ask you, Bill, in chat. I know you're a big Hawkeye fan. I'm not trying to rub. I'm honestly asking, what do you make of these Iowa State Hawkeyes this, or Iowa State Cyclones team this year? What do you think about that in college basketball? I know you're a Caitlin Clark fan right there in Iowa. What do you think, Bill? Bill answered it right away, though. He says NVIDIA earnings, right? So does Roseanne, Scott, Michael, of course. So there could be a lot of hesitation before this afternoon with NVIDIA earnings. Then we'll see the market kind of shake from there. Iowa State, Bill. How about that team? Now, with that said, at least going back to this gainer side, I am not really expecting much else out there to be on the list. NVDQ is actually an ETF, 2 times leveraged. I haven't seen this one before. Let me take a look. Just regular NVDA. It's down 3.5 to 4%, lower high, about to break lower. Not trying to aggravate you, Bill. Bill's an Iowa State Hawkeye fan there. All right, so let's see what else we can grab at least as we go from top to bottom otherwise here, and we'll hop over to the loser side next. Man, honestly, kind of slow out there, so UIS, this one actually dropped off pretty steadily after 1 o'clock, 1:30 time. Kind of skimpy order book, actually. I was going to say the spread's not terrible, but you got better fish to catch. This is dropping off really nicely. If you could buy puts on this trade, that would be one thing, but I haven't checked the option chain yet on that. But, Pan W, shortable, easy to borrow on my platform, breaking down now. So, if you trade the more expensive stocks, do one share. This one is more within our price range, and it's pretty close to the lows, enough for me to at least put this on our list here as a short. Teledoc, TDoc, I think it is. Big support, I would assume, just an assumption here, but off the whole number at 15, right? You got Sentinel, I think, Sentinel-1. Yep. CrowdStrike, I think this one is, CRWD. I got no life. That's how I remember all this stuff. I mean, even the expensive ones I know by name at least. But, of course, coming up later on today again, NVIDIA earnings. I think a lot of people are waiting on that. So I don't trade a stock pre-earnings. I think there's giant risk with that involved. It was funny watching the Barstool guy, Dave Portnoy. I'm a fan of him, but it was funny watching him buy, I think it was Spirit airline option calls and got absolutely smashed right before earnings. So yeah, we'll trade the Nvidia reaction. We'll trade it tomorrow morning, pre-market, after the market open. Ah, Bill, I did not know that. How about that? Little Bill Ireland knowledge there. He was an athletic trainer at Iowa State in our main chat board there. What led you to become a Hawkeyes fan then, Bill? Let me ask you that then. Now, before we finish up again, Rajan saying in chat, SPY and QQQ down 2 standard deviations. Yeah, I mean, as far as a day trade dropping off, we have seen the SPY move a lot better than this. Make a much bigger move than just a couple points, that's for sure. Especially now that at like $500, we've seen bigger and better, honestly. So it's moving down. Find a couple shorts. That's pretty much it, though. So, hey, let me know if there's any shorts right now, Rajan, or any of our students right now in chat. Anything looking good going down with the market, up, down, left, right? Let me know. Tesla, kind of sluggish. Coinbase is closer to the low of the day, and that is down over 6%. So that wouldn't be a bad option to think about there. CLSK is, I guess, down 4%, but meddling around a little bit. I mean, Coinbase dropping off pretty steady. So, you know what? I'll kind of slip Coinbase in particular on our list, just kind of sideless stock that goes with the market at times and actually down decent at the lows. So, Apple, not down enough, obviously, but at the low. Amazon actually steadier on the way down here of late. Again, same deal though. So if there's something up or down more percentage wise heading into this afternoon, that's like more on the gainers or losers list, that would be something I would poke more at. But otherwise, we'll see what else we can grab coming up at like 3 o'clock, 3:15. We'll be back on here, folks. All right, so going once, going twice. We got one of our members, Warren, joining us on YouTube today. Well, great to see you, Warren. And Warren's normally a member inside our live trading room, the dreaded FOMC. Well, the smaller one there, the minutes meeting. The larger Fed, meetings. Obviously, there's a lot more to it there with the interest rates being decided on and much more. But otherwise, at least we'll see if the market ends up continuing to pull back. Maybe a couple good shorts to work with there. Otherwise, hey, maybe by 3:30 we'll catch a dead cat bounce, perhaps. All right, but otherwise, hey, not to Warren. Warren already knows this, but to anyone else on YouTube, Facebook Live, etc., all of our social media streams, if you wanted to join our live trading room, just scan that QR code on the top left of the stream right there with your phone or camera. Gets you access to a week-long trial inside our live trading room, access to our main chat board, myself, of course, 35-plus-year pro like Fausto himself there. Rajan with NVIDIA. Yep. NVIDIA earnings after the bell today. Absolutely. So we're already on top of that. Looking forward to it. We'll probably keep the screen up after the market closes just to see the reaction, and we'll go from there. All right, folks. But again, I'll be back on coming up in just about 15, 20 minutes. Talk to you all then.